Welcome to RBTV's Game of the Week, as RB has already kicked off to Ridgewood as they look to defend the dog pound on homecoming night. This 1-1 RB team will face off against a 2-0 confident Ridgewood team that has already picked up some dominant wins against two very weak Chicago public schools. Liam, what are your thoughts on the game?
You know, RB, we've seen the kickoff already. It has been a slow start for RB, and it's been a strong start for Ridgewood. And this is exactly what Ridgewood needed to come out and play good today, is to get a good start.
Yeah, Ridgewood already with the ball around the 40-yard line. We're going to need some big players to step up here, such as Kayla McCautry, who dives and misses, it seems, but they get a good stop here as they only get around 4 yards on this second down play, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, we've yet to see Vital throw the ball yet. They've been relying on their big running back. That's number 22, excuse me. We are scrambling up here. We'll get a name for you soon.
We had a late start to our broadcast as we were wrapping up our pregame show and when the national anthem interrupted us, so excuse us. And Angelo takes a snap here for the pass, connects with number 13. That'll be Alex Harabchuk for a decent gain. Now they're in the red zone.
Yeah, that's a great pass from Vital. We haven't seen that yet. That's a good way to start the game for himself and to connect with a receiver, Alex Rabchuk, who doesn't have many receptions on the season.
Yeah, Alex Rabchuk with only 5 receptions on the season, but he's been effective with those touches, getting 69 yards, racking up 3 touchdowns as well, averaging 13.8 yards per reception.
Yeah, Vital takes a snap. He's going to hand it off, and he's met at the line.
And that was number 22, Nico Camilo, one of their workhorse running backs, but not their main one. Their main one being Frank Horak, who will most likely be the bell cow for tonight's Ridgewood offense.
Yeah, we haven't seen much from Camilo this year or much production as we talked about earlier, but he seems to be the lead back so far.
And now they take a play-action stance with Camilo standing behind Vital. It's worth noting in this game that
sorry, just a little miscommunication up here in the booth. Again, we're scrambling. But you know who's not scrambling is the Ridgewood Rebels. They are fresh into the red zone just over 3 minutes into this game.
And it's worth noting if RB, their varsity team, can continue their dominance display we've seen tonight from the JV team, who just mollywopped their Ridgewood JV team.
And there goes Vital looking for the end zone, and that's caught. Luke Melendez, an early strike for the Rebels as they take an early 6-0 lead.
Yeah, that was a player definitely on our watch list tonight. He had 6 receptions for 115 yards and 3 touchdowns so far this season, with a state record of 4 interceptions so far in only 2 games. So it's going to be very interesting tonight to see how he played, and he's already off to a firing start.
Yeah, and looks to be a different kicker than what we've seen so far this season.
This is currently Jacob Ortiz, number 28, who's a sophomore. He's listed, this is 20.
Yeah. This is Jonathan Martinez, who puts it right through the uprights to make it a 7-0 game.
Not the start RB wanted at all, as they let Ridgewood drive right down with a shaky run defense.
Yeah, something that needs to be noted is that this is RB's homecoming game. We need to come out with more fire than what just happened on that drive. There needs to be a chip on their shoulders. This is our first conference game in the Upstate 8. We haven't played Ridgewood since 2020, and that game was a blowout from the Dogs.
Yeah, and all things considered, that game should not have been a blowout, as RB was 1-4 that entire season. So considering that they had such a dominant win against that Ridgewood team at such a low point in their probably performance in their program history, it's shocking to see how Ridgewood came off and got 7 points really quickly tonight.
Yeah, and as we see here, the Bulldogs sideline, it's looking quite dead at the moment as we're getting another shot of, that's Tim Giacomelli there, one of the sub-ins for the Bulldogs. Not one of the main starters, but definitely one of the main players.
The hope is that maybe Xavier or whoever this is taking out of the backfield right now can ignite some power.
And he's going to take it out to the left, and he's going to make a cut, and he's going to get just past the 30 as he's met by number 10, Frankie Camilo.
And that is X, who has been, quite frankly, their X factor this entire season, notching leading the team in reception yards per game with 78. That is crazy. He also has 6 carries for 26 yards on the ground. And receiving, he's just been on an absolute fire with a 42-yard long catch in the last game. One of the only bright spots in that entire offense from the Hinsdale South game, in which they lost 34-9.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the worst games that we've seen in these past 2 years of announcing. But we'll see what they can change it up now. This is a new formation. Getting Caputo out of the backfield. He's going to try to break to the outside. He's going to cut back in, and he's going to get a gain of about 2 after being met by number 18, Marco Lopez.
And Nico Caputo was a player we thought would be seeing more snaps tonight, and so far it seems to be right, as he had definitely took away some snaps from Jaden Karras, who didn't see any receiving touches last game against Hinsdale South, as that all went to Nico Caputo, currently a sophomore, who is second in reception yards on the team with 27.5 per game.
Yeah, and Garcia's going to take the snap. He's going to give it to Renteria. Renteria looks for a hole. He finds one, and he fumbles. Who's got the ball? Dog pile for the ball, and it's...
It looks to be maybe Ridgewood, which is unfortunate because Nick Rivera tried to scramble on top of it but missed it.
And there it is, Ridgewood ball.
He dove too far, and the ball went behind him, and that is not a great start at all.
Not at all. And Damian Renteria, he's a guy that's looking to earn the starting spot in this running back committee of him and Jacob Bertana. And that's a costly fumble early in the homecoming game.
Yeah, considering Renteria looked really good against Hinsdale South, having only 2 carries, but getting 30 yards total in those carries with a 17-yard long run in one of those. Bertana not playing as well against Hinsdale South, but having a really good game against Niles West with a touchdown. So we'll see who will turn out to be the bell cow for RB's offense in the running back room.
Yeah, as we take a look at our student section right now, it is decked out with neon for this big homecoming game. As Vitalis takes a snap, he's going to hand it off to Campillo, and he's met at the line. Maybe give him a gain of about 1.
Max Strong, number 13 there with an assisted tackle in that play. He'll be a big name that we have to watch out for tonight for sure, as he had a monster game against Niles West in RB's first home game with a pick 6.
Yeah, and this is something we talked about in our pregame show. This Rebels offense is very reliant on the run game until they get within 30, 40 yards of the end zone. We've seen only 2 passes, and they've both been pretty big plays.
Yeah, currently the wideouts lining up on the right are Alex Rabchuk and number 8. Doesn't matter, though, because it's went out to the left side.
And that's Luke Melendez trying to find a hole in the screen pass, but he is met behind the line. Great play by the Bulldog defense.
Yeah, great play by the secondary, considering they did not do well last week. John Beeler-Bradick, although it was not his fault, he got taken in the first play by Mikey Jefferson, who ran for a 49-yard touchdown run for Hinsdale South. Later on, John Evans got a ball thrown over him by Langston Love to Nicholas Akram on a 30-yard dot. So hopefully things can change tonight.
Yeah, and the Bulldogs are looking to make up for their unsuccessful first defensive drive as they have a 3rd and 9 against Ridgewood. And they're going to fake the handoff. Vital rolls out right. He's going to look deep, and he's got him. He's got a man. That's 13. Alex Robchek. He's going to break a tackle and get pushed out of bounds at the 25-yard line for a Rebels first down.
Made a man completely miss before getting tackled out of bounds by number 13, Max Strong, looking fresh as ever with the cowboy collar. Another player worth mentioning tonight is number 2 safety Oscar Aguirre for the Bulldogs, who actually missed last game due to an injury. Definitely with a bit of an injury history, as he missed a few games last season as well.
Yeah, he also missed a few lacrosse games this season after taking a bad hit to the head. But it's good to see that he's back out on the field as Vital is in the shotgun with Campillo behind him. And no surprise, he gives it to him as Campillo's got a hole, and he's got another, and he's going to be met after a gain of about 9. Great gain from Campillo.
Great game from Camilo. Interesting to see when they'll start handing it off to Frank Horak. Have not seen him warm up at all, but that was also because we were busy doing our pregame show. Wondering if he may be out with an injury currently, or if he will be lining up behind Vital in a second here. Seems number 8, they're lining up with Kevin Kynell, wide receiver, along with number 13, Hrabchuk on the right side.
And again, the give to Camilo as he's going to push for the first down. Not a big gain, but it's good enough.
Not showing on the current monitor, but there's not much to see right now from the Ridgewood offense, as they're getting absolutely smashed at the line by this D-line, which was having a more successful second drive in stopping this Ridgewood offense.
Yeah, for sure. And that D-line consists of Myron Bia, Andrew Olivares, and that's Caleb McCautry. Those are three big guys that you have right up the gut, who always has had an answer so far for Camilo, as Vital rolls out right again, and he's going to look for his guy. That's number 13 again, Alex Robchek, with his third reception of the game.
Eventually pushed out by number 15, Brian Rampilla, a sophomore who has been stepping up for this team as of late. He actually leads the team in tackles per game with 7, and he didn't play versus Hinsdale South, so he recorded all of those tackles against Niles West. It'll be intriguing to see what he does tonight at home once again.
Yeah, and something worth noting here is we got a guy on Ridgewood right now. I think he's puking right now.
And we have an official's timeout here.
That is an official's timeout called, as Jaden Mazarigos is not feeling too well as he makes his way to the sideline as he takes his helmet off. And this is actually a much needed timeout for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and that puke, that could be many of the Bulldog players on homecoming night tomorrow night. Stay tuned for that. But not great for the Bulldogs, but definitely a much needed reset. We see Andrew Olivares, who actually currently holds the squatting record for the program, coming back in at nose tackle. Definitely going to be needed for a stop here on this huge offensive line. RB definitely need that reset. Hopefully they can get a stop now in the red zone.
And here you have Camilo behind Vital, and he's met at the line again. That's a combo of Olivares and number 9, Eric Servin.
Yeah, and then Caleb McCautry as well. He's going to need to step up big tonight for RB. He's a defensive end, captain of this defensive line, and he's also a speed demon who ran a 4.64 40 time for a guy pushing around 200 pounds. He's going to play a crucial role in setting the tone by stopping the run early tonight.
Yeah, as they move a man in motion, Vital, as there's a false start on the Rebels. This is a great sign, as this will most definitely force Vital to go through the air.
Yeah, and I would not trust Martinez, their current kicker, to kick this, as he is inexperienced, as we know. Their main kicker to be number 88, Michael Schwasowski. Very Polish last name that is hard to pronounce.
Yeah,
so they will definitely most happily resort to the air raid coming up soon.
Yeah, Michael's just got about just every letter in the alphabet in his last name, and they do not line up correctly. But talking about lining up correctly, we now have a 3rd and long for a 3rd and goal for the Rebels, as it looks like they draw the Bulldogs off sides, or they're going to call a false start.
That is not what you want to see. Just as when you had the no, that actually will be on Ridgewood, so they'll get pushed back even further as momentum shifts even more in RB's favor.
Yeah, Ridgewood looks to be in a little bit of shock right now, as they believe that it was the Bulldogs that went off sides first. And so did some of the refs, but the official call on the field is a false start on the Rebels.
There did seem to be some contention there between the Ridgewood players, coming to a disagreement with the main ref, but then one of the assistant refs backed the ref up and moved the ball back for Ridgewood, where the ball is now spotted around the 16.
Yeah, and here comes Vital in the shotgun. Again, we have not seen him go under center. Most likely looking to pass, and he is. He's going to roll out, but he's going to run it, and he's going to slide. Questionable play from Vital, as he gets a gain of about 4 or 5.
Their wideouts have now shifted, as no more Kevin Kynell in the field. Alex Rabchuk has lined up by himself with both number 21 Owen Moore and Luke Melendez on the left side for that play.
Yeah, and we're looking to see if they're going to kick this, and they are. Number 20, again, Jonathan Martinez is back on the field, but the lefty kicker is out to kick from the left hash mark. We'll see how this affects him, and he's going to put one up.
Oh, wow. That
And it is good. Yeah, good from distance, without a doubt.
Very good start from Ridgewood. Not the start you want to see from RB and their offense, all things considering. You need to see them start to get out of their own 50 to start things off. Our Ridgewood up 10-0 early with 1:07 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, Ridgewood has taken full advantage of the slow start from the Bulldogs, as we have head coach Sam Styler counting out his men for this kick return, letting them know that this is not just a kick return. This is the biggest kick return of the game so far. They need to get back into this game.
Yeah, and if they need to have success, it needs to happen with their O-line alleviating G. Garcia of some of that pressure he's been feeling up front. And that's going to start with number 72, Carter, a.k.a. Deuce Shelby, who is the left guard and the captain of this offensive line. He will be detrimental in stopping Ridgewood's huge defensive line tonight.
Yeah, and they're going to throw up a little shorter kick here. It looks to be Jack Boyle catching this, number 14. He's going to almost break a tackle, but he's brought down at the 33.
Interesting that they're resorting to Jack Boyle, who doesn't usually start for this team, but as it is a special teams play, it is somewhat understandable to see him getting some reps in.
Yeah, talk about an unusual lineup. We got Nico Caputo back there receiving kicks with Morozic DeJesus, who obviously has been doing that all season. But to see Caputo, again, gaining more reps, it's a great sign for the kid.
Yeah, against San Jose South, he had 4 receptions for 34 yards. He's averaging 8.5 yards per reception, and he had a 26-yard long catch, which is his career high. The problem is, although he is very elusive, very low center of gravity, he can get past people, he sometimes is a little shaky with ball security, as he did have a fumble against Niles West in their opening game.
Yeah, as here comes Caputo in motion. They're going to take the snap. Is going to give it to Ratana. Ratana can't find a hole, and he's met for a gain of about 1.
It'll be hard for this run game to get past some of their huge guys on the defensive line, such as defensive tackle senior Gil Mendoza for Ridgewood, who is 6'5", 300 pounds, as well as Tommy Berkovich, who is a sophomore, 6'4", 315 pounds. Some massive guys that will definitely make a difference here tonight on this defensive tackle.
Yeah, and again, we run the motion, but this time we're going to give it to Karras. Karras looks for a hole, has nothing, as he's met behind the line. That's number 77 this time, Justin Panogitan.
It was that same reverse play that led to a touchdown in their opening game against Niles West. Unfortunately, that ended on a different note, as that will end the first quarter, it seems, 10-0 Ridgewood. Some takeaways from this quarter is that it was a very slow start from the offense, horrible turnover that led to a total shift in momentum. Ridgewood was able to drive down, grab a field goal from that after a successful touchdown drive earlier. Not a great start from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, for sure. Not the best start we've seen, but we saw this last game, though. The Bulldogs struggled early on to get a touchdown. But what looked to be a momentum changer of a run from Damian Renteria turned into a momentum shifter back the other way, as he fumbles late into his carry, and Ridgewood gets the ball back and puts up another 3.
That's ball security is something that's going to be extremely significant in this game. Something else that's going to be extremely significant is their outside linebacker, number 9, Eric Servin, who is also a lax player for the RB lacrosse team in the spring season. He's another guy on this team, aside from Morozic DeJesus and Jaden Karras and some of their transfers, that has raw athletic abilities on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to need him to put some pressure on Angelo Vital tonight. Let him force the ball into Horak or Camilo's hands.
Yeah, for sure. We need to force the ball into Vital's hands, because he has not shown much this season to be good in the pass game. And this is a new little formation for the Dogs here, as Giancarlo's going to look to throw, and they're going to run a reverse screen pass for Morozic DeJesus, but again, met after a gain of about 1.
If he just had a few more blockers there in the way, that could have gone for a big gain there. But instead, it's stopped very short, and that's actually going to be not a loss of yards, but only a gain of about 1 or 2, as we see a whole different personnel come onto the field now.
Yes, we see the punt team come out for the 4th and 9. John Bielabreda making his first kicking appearance in this game.
Pass caught by Xavier Mosick DeJesus.
As we'll see, again, the main man back there, Luke Melendez, we'll see what he can do, as he has had some prior success to his punt returns.
Yeah, he actually has 145 kick return yards in the season, along with 49 punt return yards, but he takes the fair catch there.
In my opinion, questionable fair catch there.
Yeah, he probably could have ran with that. I could have seen him getting to at least the 50, as he was only being pressured by number 81, Bobby Zobel, who is not known to be a huge body. I think Melendez definitely would have outmatched him there in terms of weight, weighing in at 160 and definitely hulking over him in size at 6'1".
Yeah, for sure, but you also got to we have to put in account too, Luke Melendez is heading right back onto the offense after playing all sides of the ball so far. He has yet to get a break. So maybe that fair catch is just a time for him to catch his breath.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually a great point that you make there. He is Ridgewood's version of Travis Hunter.
Yeah, and here comes Vital. Takes the snap. He's going to roll out. He's going to look far again, but it's underthrown.
Pass incomplete.
Incompletion to, I believe that was number 8, Kevin Kynell, a player that we have seen in the scheme so far, but has not. That was his first target of the game. Also lining in on that side is Alex Hrabchuk. Two guys that are both juniors, I believe. Sorry, Kevin Kynell is actually a senior, while Hrabchuk is a junior.
Yeah, Kynell has been a guy this season that has been only used as a deep threat, as he's averaging around 23 yards per catch. And to see him run a cutback route is something you're not used to, as a bad snap here to Vital makes him scramble and makes him get a gain of 0. As it's going to force a 3rd and 10.
Absolutely swallowed by Ren Mason as Angelo goes nowhere after the high snap. Ren Mason going to be crucial tonight. No more as a DB, highly touted in that position. He has arguably been RB's best player over the last 2 games, certainly against Niles West, as he had 6.5 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions in that game alone.
Yeah, and Vital's going to look to throw again. He rolls out, a common occurrence here, and he's going to hit him again. Alex Hrabchuk, we've seen this play over and over, and it's worked over and over.
This bootleg pass that he's making, scrambling out to the right side, it's definitely his more favorite side, and it's helping because Caleb McCautry's lining up on the opposite side. So McCautry forced to scramble over, probably one of their best edge rushers on the team for RB, and he can't get there in time as their left side is weaker with some more inexperienced guys such as Mason Mislinski.
Yeah, for sure. Mason Mislinski, a guy that we usually see on the offensive side of the ball, making an appearance on defense, which is, you know, a big factor to the D-line, as Vital's going to look to throw deep again, but he's going to throw out of bounds, looking for Hrabchuk again.
Hrabchuk definitely angling more of his catches towards the out-of-bounds line, looking to maybe stop some clock. 9:51 left in the second quarter. It is 10-0 still if you're tuning in right now. As we look at the secondary, we see Oscar Aguirre line up in the safety position with the people we've seen before lining up in the cornerback slots, such as number 88, John Bila-Bradick, who we know to be their kicker as well. On the opposite side, you have what I believe to be John Evans Jr., who's giving some space to Alex Hrabchuk, respecting his capabilities of making a big play.
Yeah, and here comes another handoff to Camilo. He's going to fumble this one. It looks like the Bulldogs are on top of this. No, they lose possession of it.
That is going to be, people are unsure. Suffice to say, that was a great play by the defense overall, and if they cannot come up with this, that's still a great tackle that did not go anywhere for Ridgewood.
Yellow Pat Tillman-esque tackle there with the peanut punch.
And it looks like it's going to stay Ridgewood's ball.
Yeah, we ran right behind him, punched the ball out as Camilo was not looking whatsoever or had no field awareness of where his closest tackler was, as we're going to see a new running back hop in the game. It's number 18, Marco Lopez. There's a new sight as Camilo heads out. He's going to fake the handoff to Lopez as he's going to roll back out. He's got Hrabchuk again, but met this time
by Red Mason.
And just like we just talked about, he is going to be a key player for these Bulldogs, and he needs to be a guy that can continue to step up on those plays just so they can hold Ridgewood to a punt.
Yes, Ren Mason, he is the most dominant player in their secondary, considering Aguirre missed last week's game. He's going to need to be doing a lot, considering Ridgewood did stat pad in the last 2 games, and now they have confidence going in the air. They have 318 total reception yards in their last 2 games, averaging 159 per game, and 17.5 yards per catch as they punt now.
As we see this from Vital is a little quarterback punt, which is a rare occurrence, something that you see when a team can't make a field goal and it's too far to, or too close to punt the ball. So they're going to actually direct snap to the quarterback in the shotgun, and he's going to try to surprise the defense for a punt. But this was quite unsuccessful.
Questionable call there by head coach Vince Finelli, who was looking to catch the RB defense off guard by hoping to maybe utilize Angelo Vital's strong legs from playing baseball, but Vital could not get that far at all, and that proved to be unsuccessful as RB are now lining up in touchback position.
Yeah, and we're going to move Ratana to the left side of Garcia, as Garcia's going to look to throw this time. First look is not open, but he's going to look deeper this time, and it's picked off. Luke Melendez, his 5th of the season, and he's going to take it back to the 26-yard line.
Wow, Luke Melendez definitely got some height on that one as he leaped for that ball. Like we said, that is his 5th interception of the season, which is leading the state, actually. Worthy of noting that he actually did not have any interceptions in his last game, so he's back on that sheet there, recording that interception. Not great for G as he was looking for Nick Rivera, but could not reach him.
Yeah, Garcia did a really good job extending the play as Rivera wasn't open on his first look. He found a guy open, he just overthrew him, and that's what's kind of been a problem with Garcia so far.
Yeah, he's either underthrowing or overthrowing these throws as Morozic de Jesus was lined up underneath, but could not connect with him either.
And there's the first carry of the game for Frank Horak, who has seemed to be the lead back early in this season for the Rebels. He's going to get a gain of about 4 as the Rebels just keep chipping away.
Frank Horak is their sophomore running back who has 17 carries for 117 yards on the season, 2 touchdowns already, and averaging 6.6 yards per carry. Not bad at all. As we see number 21, Owen Moore, lined up as a senior wide receiver on the left side.
And they're going to hand it off yet again, and the cut back in from Marco Lopez will get him enough for the first down as they pulled it to the 17-yard line.
Some great blocking there by number 72, Andrew Ciolek on the left side. He's their center currently, and he'll be a big impact player, weighing in at 255 pounds. That'll be hard to stop for this defensive line trying to get through.
Yeah, again, something we talked about earlier in our pregame show was the size that Ridgewood has and how it can play a really big factor in this game, and so far it has. As Vital is in the shotgun with Lopez behind him yet again, as a flag is going to be thrown.
That seems
a little
to be
false start on the offense.
There was some flinching from that offensive line. Might have been number 72, Andrew Ciolek, or I believe 58, Jaden Mazaregos.
Yeah, we've seen that twice already from the Rebels, as this seems to be one of the hiccups that they have within their offense, which is something that the Bulldogs need to take advantage of. When they get pushed back by themselves, we have to be able to hold them.
Yeah, in terms of turnovers, RB did not do well in this statistic compared to Hinsdale South in the last game, having 2 turnovers, while Hinsdale South only had 1, so that is something they need to shore up in this game tonight, which so far they have in comparison.
As Vital's going to give a little pitch to his running back Lopez, and Lopez is going to find a hole, get to the sideline for a gain of about 7 or 8, and he's going to keep chipping away at this Bulldog field.
Eventually pushed out of bounds by number 88, John Beeler-Bradick, and number 13, Max Strong, lining up together on that right side there. As we see Ridgewood once again in RB's red zone, this time on the opposite side. 6 minutes, 20 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yeah, and a familiar formation again with Vital looking for Lopez. He's going to hand it off. Lopez bounces out to the right, looking to see if he can get past, but he's going to get met by number 13, looks to be Max Strong.
Great show of speed there by Myron Bia as well, forcing him over to that right side, right into the arms of Max Strong. Some great speed there by Myron Bia, who is now getting subbed out by number 55, Damien, a.k.a. Buba Nieves. Some fun facts about him is that he is actually a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles and looks up to Jalen Carter. He's his second year starting on varsity as a junior.
Yeah, another man that just checked into the game is Mason Mislinski. That's 2 new D linemen for the Bulldogs. They're trying to mix something up here to stop this powerful run game from Ridgewood, as Vital's going to give it to the back again, but he's met before the first down mark.
That seems to be
Unless they give it to him. He's going to give the signal for the first down. For a 1st and goal, Rebels.
And here comes number 72, player I mentioned earlier, Carter Shelby. He looks up to Tyler Booker, an offensive guard from Alabama, as well as Paris Johnson Jr., an offensive tackle playing for the Arizona Cardinals. like we mentioned, some of those guys. Tyler Booker's weight is 6'5", 352 pounds. Paris Johnson is 6'6", 310, which is not far off from some of these defensive tackle guys, such as Berkovich and Mendoza on Ridgewood.
Yeah, and a wise timeout called from head coach Sam Styler, as the Bulldogs cannot afford to give up another touchdown.
This run game has been hard to stop for RB. This was something that became a problem in the opening half against Niles West that they eventually fixed, holding Niles West to only 31 rushing yards on the night in total. But so far, Ridgewood has accumulated way more than that, and something needs to be fixed urgently. And I think Styler's working diligently to try to fix something up, as we've seen a shakeup in the personnel already.
Yeah, and it looks he's singling out Eric Servin and Oscar Aguirre, maybe to run a little blitz play to jam up this run game as the Rebels head back out to the field, assuming they're going to head into that same formation, which they do. As it looks like the safety Aguirre is actually going to line up on number 21, Owen Moore.
Another player that has been vital for Ridgewood on this offensive line so far has been number 52, Jimmy Jack, who is a senior, 6'1", 215 pounds, who has been really successful so far at blocking this opposing D-line.
And here comes the handoff, a cut inside, but he's met. That's number 13, Max Strong with the tackle, helped by Mason Mislinski. That's number 22 who's getting reps now. Nico Camilo's back in the game.
In the amount of times we've already said Max Strong's name, he's currently third on the team in tackles per game at 4. I think he's already at 4 in this game alone. He has one pick six versus Niles West. That was for 23 yards. And he's been making a name for himself this season as he just became a varsity player last season as a junior.
Yeah, and the hand is to Camilo again. And he's going to stumble his way into the end zone and create a 16-0 lead for the Rebels.
Yeah, the Bulldogs have now fallen into a huge deficit. Great blocking by number 72, Andrew Ciolek, off the line there at center. Unfortunately, he was able to stop Andrew Olivares, who is currently a sophomore's progress, as we now see Martinez line up for this extra point.
Yeah, Martinez has been flawless so far today. The lefty kicker lines up with his placeholder. That's Kevin Kinnell, the receiver who has been somewhat active in the game so far when they've thrown around there 5-6 times today. The snap is all right, but it's recovered by Kinnell, and it's put right through the uprights for
John
a
Beeler-Bradick
good
almost
PAT.
got there, but he did not, as he missed that. And this is somewhat of a scary outcome so far in this game, as it's not going to get much easier for RB moving forward at home. They play Glenbard South at home on October 4th, who is currently 1-1. Lost to a really good Wheaton Warrenville South team, but should not be taken lightly as they finished 9-2 last year and 8-1 in conference, only second behind Glenbard East, who they will play at home in the final game of the season on the 25th of October. Also 1-1, but a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, as again, head coach Sam Styler trying to give a message to this kick return team that they need a big return now. As on the other side of the ball, we have Jonathan Martinez looking to kick off and get it to a spot like Jack Boyle or to Jacob Ratana, someone who's not looking to return this ball.
Another thing that Vince Finelli has been doing well with this team on Ridgewood is making sure that they've been eating up clock, as there's already only 4 minutes left in this second quarter as we're approaching halftime very quickly.
And here comes Rozic on the return. He looks to go up the middle, but he's met by 3 Rebels. That's number 14 on the tackle, Peter Rosales, and number 18, Marco Lopez.
Also met by number 10, Frankie Camilo, who just ran in, who's also their defensive back. Possible brothers with Camilo, number 22, who just ran in for a touchdown, Nico Camilo.
Yeah, Frankie Camilo was seen in the JV game earlier. He had their lone touchdown in their big loss against the Bulldogs JV team, 46-6. But we'll see what Garcia has in store. He's going to move Ratana out to his left, and he's going to bring up Caputo to his right. He's going to hand it to Caputo, fakes it to Caputo, gives it to Ratana, and Ratana's going to spin out of a tackle and get a good gain of about 6.
Yeah, you could definitely see some frustration from number 16, who's not listed on Ridgewood's roster sheet, but some frustration coming from him as he slaps his helmet, missing that tackle that Ratana is able to spin out of.
Yeah, that's a beautiful play by Ratana, something we've yet to see from him this much this season, within the season, and it's great to see him getting more active into the game. As Garcia is going to take the snap, he's going to give it, no, he's going to keep it. As Garcia's got a hole, he's got the first down for the Bulldogs as he's tackled around the 44-yard line.
And that is number 10, Frankie Camilo, who helps out in that tackle, shifting from his mark of Nick Rivera to get to G. Garcia for that tackle, but he's stopped short of the first down out of 2nd and 4. Or is it a first down?
It is first down. Just the scoreboard's a little behind. Garcia looking to change up an audible. Seems to have gotten someone to jump, but no call. Is he going to keep it again? He's got another hole. Garcia looking for a block. Doesn't get it, but he's going to get the first down up to the 42-yard line. The Bulldogs are moving.
That surely would have been a free play had Garcia not gotten that first down, as Emilio Hernandez, sophomore, definitely some inexperience there, completely jumped off the line, but it was not called. Doesn't matter anyway, as RB moves the chains.
Yeah, a beautiful read from Garcia to see the man jump early and then read that and not go that way, even though it seemed that he was a little unready. As Nick Rivera is going to head back in motion, they're going to hand it off to Ratana on the counter. Ratana goes through the middle, gets a gain in about 3 or 4. And again, this is what we like to see. Activate the run game, something that we haven't seen so far this year besides out of Garcia.
Yeah, and referencing John Carcillo's gift on the run, he actually had 12 carries for 80 yards against Hinsdale South in that last game with a 26-yard rushing touchdown. And he also did well against Niles West with 10 carries for 52 yards, 5.2 yards per carry. He's been great on the run.
Yeah, and it seems that we have jinxed that up in the booth as he does another keeper, but he makes the incorrect read and runs right into a line of linebackers to number 5, Marco Jonik.
Yeah, we can already just see this massive size of number 99 who looks like he could eat the referee alive. That is Tommy Berkovich, the sophomore, weighing in at 315 that we mentioned earlier. Joaquin Jara, who's massive himself. He is a sophomore left tackle for RB. He's number 73, but he seems to be no match so far.
Yeah, without a doubt, this sophomore Berkovich has been a weapon on the defense, a force to be reckoned with if you're on the O-line, which we thought was going to be a threat, without a doubt, with his big size. But he's made, and he has made a threat and made a big impact in this game.
Now interesting to see how they're lining up with Karras, Rivera, all on the same side as their wideouts. Rose De Jesus lining up as their X-Man.
As Ratana moves out to the right, Garcia looks for the screen pass, has Caputo, and he's overthrown. Giancarlo Garcia overthrows on 3rd and 5, and a big decision to be made for the Bulldogs, as they're going to look to keep the offense out there.
They really needed that. If Caputo had caught in that was an easy screenplay that would have easily gone for the first down.
Go.
They really needed to connect on that, but now they're forced to go for it on 4th and 5, already down 6.
Easily win a first down, and maybe even more, as the Bulldogs show a little bit of confusion at the line, but have time to fix it. Ratana moves out to the left. We'll see the play that they draw up now. Definitely some confusion out of Garcia. He's going to move Ratana back behind him, over to his right.
Hello.
Takes the snap. He's looking out. Has nobody. And he's going to get sacked behind the line. He's going to fumble it too. And that's picked up by number 88. A beautiful play behind the line. That's 88, Michael Chusakowski. And he's strip sacked by number 99, Tommy Berkovich.
I would not want 315 pounds of weight crashing down on me like that happened to Garcia. Unfortunately, he was looking for the read on the left side, but Rivera and Karras had not run their routes yet. They were not open. He was forced to look right, but by then it was too late as he was enveloped by the Ridgewood D-line. Unfortunate now as it is a turnover on downs with 1 minute 43 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, something we talked about earlier in the game is the pocket presence from Garcia. We want him to stay in the pocket, but obviously with a collapsing pocket like that, he needs to be aware that that's not the move. As the handoff goes to number 8, that's Kevin Kinnell this time. The wideout gets the handoff, and he's going to get a first down and more. up to the Bulldog 48.
Very quiet so far from the student section for understandable reasons. Down 17, not the spot you want to be heading into halftime. RB is going to need to come up with something big before time winds down if they want to get the students back on their side and not leaving home, not leaving early.
As the play clock stops here at 24 seconds. Little confusion from the refs.
As we see some other players that could be impactful for Ridgewood tonight. Defensive end, number 60, Ivan Kohut, could be a name to watch out for. We mentioned Michael Kwiatkowski, who is their joker. He is listed also as a kicker, but he's not been playing that so far.
And here comes Vital looking downfield for Melendez. He's got him. Melendez breaks a tackle of Aguirre, and then he's met by, looks to be John Evans and company.
Melendez, 6 receptions for 115 yards. We know what he can do as a wide receiver, as well as a defensive back. He's been Ridgewood's player of the game so far, already with a huge gain there, as well as an interception. He's been one of their X factors tonight.
Yeah, it looks to be they caught the Bulldogs unsteady, excuse me, as they're going to hand it off. That's number 18. Marco Lopez is met behind the line. Kind of a lucky play for the Bulldogs.
Very lucky as they're able to get one man to that very quickly. I believe that was number 25, Juju Espinoza.
And it looks Ridgewood has called a timeout.
43 left in the second quarter. RB needs to figure this out as they do not want another score being added before halftime. They definitely need a big reset here. What are your takeaways so far from this second quarter and the first half as a whole?
My takeaway so far is that Ridgewood's run game has been killer. It has killed the Bulldogs, putting up 17 points, leading them to the red zone, and then killing the clock as well. This has been one of the fastest first halves that I've ever commentated.
Yeah, and it's not been much better for the RB secondary. They've been letting balls go to Alex Harabchuk out on the wide ends, as well as Luke Melendez, like we just saw through the middle. That have been absolute momentum killers. Ridgewood has been able to drive down off of that as well. So both the pass defense and the run defense is not something that has been working out so far for this RB defense.
Yeah, for sure. As the defense in our last game we commentated, which was game 1 of the season, was the winning factor for the Bulldogs. Just hasn't been able to find their groove so far. They haven't really been able to stop anything.
Yeah, we've seen decent plays from Ren Mason and Max Strong, but we need more stuff from their D linemen, such as Caleb McCautry, Angelo Olivares, who needs to put some pressure on Angelo Vital.
And just like that, they do. Vital has to scramble and slide behind the line of scrimmage.
Well done by Brian Rampilla there, number 15, who's able to break into the seam between number 22 of Ridgewood, as well as number 58, to pressure Angelo Vital, who's forced to scramble out to the right side and eventually have to slide down.
Yeah, and as we see here, John Miller-Bradek looks to have a one-on-one conversation with Styler. A little confusion has been noticeable to the Bulldog defense. They have struggled holding them back, but obviously that changed within the last play as we were able to hold Vital behind the line and lock up his receivers, giving him no reads.
Yeah, disconcertingly lethargic to start off the game, but so far in this final drive before halftime for Ridgewood, RB has gotten a little bit better as there's been more communication between Styler and the defense.
Yes, Ridgewood makes their way back out to the field. They do get the center line up as Vital slid behind the line of scrimmage. Something that we saw in his his scrambling performance so far this season. He went 8 for 23 yards, which is under 3 yards per carry. And that seems to be because he's just kind of scared to take the tackle.
Yeah, definitely he could be scared of what happened to Tua last night. But very undersized as he is a sophomore, weighing in at 150 pounds, 5'9", does not compare to the sheer size and weight of some of these guys such as Andrew Olivares and Caleb McContry off the defensive line. Would not want to get tackled by them like Garcia got tackled against Berkovich in one of the last drives we've seen before.
Yeah, neither would I. Those are forces to be reckoned with on the D-line, who have not seemed to have been a problem for Ridgewood so far, though.
And it seems that after heading into halftime, we will have a on-the-field interview with our RBTV reporter, Madison Landon, who has managed to get former all-state athlete for Riverside Brookfield, Will Kincannon, who played baseball and had a bit of a stint professionally.
As here's Vitale looking downfield, and it's going to be broken up. A nice play by, looks to be John Evans. Beautiful play.
Yes, batted away by John Evans. Definitely maybe had some PTSD against the game against Hinsdale South, where he let one go against Nicholas Akram, who scored right on him for a 30-yard touchdown on a reverse route. Langston Love with a dot there in that game, but in this right now, great coverage against Ridgewood's top receiver.
Yeah, that's the second incompletion we've seen from Vitale. He's yet to throw up a 50-50 ball like that. Not bad placement on it, but just great coverage from John Evans.
I have to say, a lot of composure and poise being shown by Vitale in the pocket. But it's also probably because he's been having a lot of time to scramble, both left and right. He can do whatever he wants so far. Like right now, he's so much.
He does right now. He's going to look for a first down pass to his go-to man, Luke Melendez, but that's going to be incomplete, leaving the Bulldogs 22 seconds and about 70 yards to go.
We'll see what they can do here. It might be time to start adding on some new skill players, such as number 85, Danny Loftus, who we're not sure if he suited up for this game, but he would come in at around, I think, the tight end position, I believe. Could be a player of note, as he is a dynamic player for the RB basketball team, extremely athletic.
Yeah, and here comes the Bulldog offense. We'll see if they choose to run this clock out or utilize both of their timeouts left within the last 20 seconds of the game. Obviously, we'll see their decision with the first play. And from the looks of it, it seems they're just going to run this clock out.
Gatana lining up next to Garcia, averaging 4.2 yards per carry on the season. He lost some steam in his last game. Renteria dominated over him.
As there's going to be a keeper for Garcia, and he's met by number 5 after a gain of about 5, but Marco Jonic.
Marco Jonic is a huge player for Ridgewood. Some notes on him is that he's become a great 1-2 punch with Melendez in the secondary. He has 6 tackles in each game so far, 12 tackles each, and that actually leads the team. So this will be a familiar name we will be calling out on the rush, and that looks like that will be the end of the first half for RB, as a dismal start as they are down 17-0 on homecoming night.
Yeah, and with that wrapping up, we'll send it down to our sideline reporters, Madison Lannon.
That's why I thought we were already going.
Now or never.
Oh!
Okay.
Hi, I'm Madison Lannon.
And I'm Sophie Toretta.
And who are we here with today?
My name is Will Kincannon. I'm a security guard / substitute teacher at RB.
Okay.
All right, and what's your prediction for this game?
Well, we're down 17-0 at half. We got to make some adjustments at halftime. Maybe win in the trenches, create some turnovers, and then hopefully we can turn this around.
All right, I definitely think we're going to turn this around. Thank you.
and Marilyn Urban. The band would like to welcome all of the band alumni in the audience this evening, especially former students of Mr. Collins, Mr. Ivanelli, and Mr. McGolgan. Happy homecoming, everyone. And now, please enjoy the RB Band's halftime performance, Long Live the Queen.
Welcome back to RBTV's coverage of Riverside Brookfield versus Ridgewood, as the Bulldogs will look to start the second half on a better note than they did in the first, letting Ridgewood drive right down the field for an early score to begin the first quarter. As they will receive the kickoff to start the second half, they will look to erase their 17-0 deficit one drive at a time. Some notes from the first half was that they were plagued by turnovers. They already have one fumble by Damian Renteria and one interception thrown by Garcia to star DB on Ridgewood, Luke Melendez. They cannot continue to have cheap giveaways.
Yeah, it has been a costly game for the Bulldogs. It has been an awfully slow start, and it's just something that we need to pick up on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think we've surpassed a 20-yard drive.
Yeah, and that's speaking, they need to be more effective on their third down conversions as well. Last game, they only had a 36% conversion efficiency, going 4 for 11, and it wasn't much better against Niles West, going only 3 for 8 on third downs, which is 38%. So far, we've seen them already have a turnover on downs. Ridgewood has just been stopping them both in the passing game and in the running game. Speaking of the passing game, that is something that Giancarlo Garcia needs to get going. He needs to start getting X, Karras, and Nico Caputo getting more involved specifically.
Yeah, I 100% agree. As you can see, as the energy in Liam's voice, we're bored up here. We don't have much to talk about because everything that's happening is for Ridgewood. Giancarlo has not been able to create a good completion that has been able to get us momentum to be able to march down the field. Our run game, we've seen a couple of chunk plays from Ratana, but again, you can't just count on your running back to do it all.
Yeah, momentum has been largely swinging in Ridgewood's favor, and it has been all game. Even after Ridgewood got that opening score, RB was looking for something. They were cheered on by their student section in their half, but Renteria's fumble came at a time where RB really needed points right after that first score. What does he do, though? He fumbles it, and he just let Nico Camilo and Angelo Vitale run riots on them, and instead they give the ball away, and they allow the Rebels to take a 2-score lead after that, going up 10-0, and that really kind of put the game away in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, when you say put the game away, I'm sure you meant put that whole half away and put all the momentum that the Bulldogs were trying to gain away. Mm-hmm. Again, I sound like a broken record talking about momentum, but that's something that played a massive factor in our Week 1 win against Niles West. We were able to get an early pick, which started momentum, got the offense going, made Giancarlo comfortable in the pocket, let him make some completions, get a good throw downfield, and then we came out of the second half firing on all cylinders. We had an early pick from Ren Mason, who took it to the crib. That was at pick 6, and then I believe next 2 plays after, Max Strong takes one himself to the crib as well.
Yeah, and if I'm Giancarlo Garcia, if I'm Coach Tyler, I would just tell Garcia, keep it simple, right? We already saw he missed a chance to grab some easy yards, overthrowing Caputo on a 5-yard screen pass. He needs to be looking for more of those to get his confidence up. He needs to start making those catches, making those throws. And RB's woes in the passing game, though, we can't put it all on Garcia. The O-line has not been able to find a way to stop Ridgewood's massive D-line, and Garcia has not had time in the pocket to make a good throw.
Yeah, again, broken record I sound like, but that defensive line, we've talked about it over and over and over. Again, with the offensive line for Ridgewood, they've got size, and their size has been playing a massive factor in this so far blowout of a game.
Yeah, Garcia, the only place he's been effective in has been the scramble. He's been able to find seams in the Ridgewood D-line for short chunks of yardage, and that's about all RB has been able to get so far. Really have not had many completions and really have not had many first downs. That's going to be something they're looking to change as they will receive the second half kickoff here in a few moments.
Yeah, and we hear the stadium announcers trying to get the student section fired up. I was down there. I was talking to a couple of the guys saying, what can we do to get hype? And they just said, it's hard to get hype when there's nothing to get hype about. As let's see if Morozic de Jesus can change that around. He's got a good return. Takes it about to the 34-yard line.
And he evades the rush of senior wide receiver Owen Moore, who lining up in the special teams there, almost got to him, but was able to slip away from him.
Yeah, here we have that Bulldog offense heading back on the field. We, again, talked about it this whole entire time since we've been back from half. We need to see something happen from this offense. And in my opinion, this is the perfect time to break out a jet sweep play to Karras or a jet sweep play to Morozic de Jesus or even a roundabout play. We need to get yards that can kind of trick this defense, make them know our identity.
And can we get Jacob Rattana more activated? He was averaging 23 yards per game prior to this.
And here he is now, Jacob Rattana. He's going to find a hole. He's got a nice hole and a nice gain of 12 yards.
That's exactly what RB needed to start this. They needed a first down. They needed to move the chains quickly, get it out of their half. And that's looking like what's happening right now, as we might have a little personnel change on the O-line. Carter Shelby leading these guys to hopefully rally back from this monumental performance from the defensive line from Ridgewood, as we have a player down, it seems.
Yeah, it seems the turf has won another cramp monster battle here, as first play of the half, I don't think I've ever seen this before, a cramp that early into a half. It seems to be number 88, who's been a good player for them so far, Michael Chukowski, however you say that. As we are getting a nice view of Mr. Beasley in the booth. He is the stadium announcer, great guy.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's tough to find exciting things on the football field right now, as RB has been lifeless from the snap.
And let's see if they can find some life right here. Garcia in the shotgun. Motions Rattana to his right. He's not even going to look to a handoff. He's looking for Caputo, who's covered. He's got Nick Rivera. He's going to look for him, and it's underthrown.
Oh, man, looks like, hold on, there could be some action here, as number 22, Jaden Karras, is motioning something to the refs, but he was actually wide open on that play around the 30-yard line. Would have been a massive completion, but he had about 30 or 10 yards of space from his defensive back. Garcia should have found him, considering he was looking right.
Yeah, something we see there on that last play is Garcia does roll out right. I would like to see him sit in the pocket just a little bit longer. It wasn't really collapsing. It was just kind of fading towards his left. But it's not something that he needed to run out of the pocket on and, force a throw on the run.
Also does seem to be a signature move of Vital, who will scramble one way or another. But the difference is he's connecting on those.
Yeah, and here's Rattana now. He's going to get the handoff, get a gain of about 5 as he makes it to the midfield point and leaves the Bulldogs with a 3rd and 5.
Eventually brought down by guard Justin Panagaitin, a 220-pound senior who has been racking up the tackles so far this game.
Yeah, and, the similar formation, we've got Morozic de Jesus, who has yet to be an offensive threat so far, out alone here. We'll see what they run here. They're going to run the screen pass. Almost met at the line here because Caputo looks to the outside. And Beeler, it looks like Jaden Karras can't hold his block. And so Nico Caputo won't go anywhere.
Pushed back by number 10, Frankie Camilo, who has been really dynamic for the Ridgewood in getting these tackles for losses on these skill players for RB. He's been dominating alongside his brother on the offensive side of the ball, Nico Camilo, who has at least 1 touchdown in this game rushing.
Yeah, this is something we'd like to see from the Bulldogs. They're trying to make a point here that they're not out of this game. They're going to go for it on this 4th and 4, and Garcia's going to run the keeper, the read option. He's going to get the first down.
Massive conversion for RB. They needed that on that 4th and 6 there. Great for Garcia, like we mentioned earlier. Very successful on the scramble, as it's able to create some confusion among the blocking for Ridgewood. And he's able to utilize that and get the chains moving once again.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to reverse or mirror our offensive scheme as Morozic de Jesus heads out to John Carlo's right. Maybe looking for a play that utilizes him. We'll see. As we'll see where Rattana moves. He's going to move out right, which makes me think that they're not looking for Morozic because they're going to look for Caputo again, but he's met at the line. No one picks up number 7, Kobe Lewis.
Nico Caputo hoping to start this game on the right foot like he did last game, where he had 4 receptions for 33 yards, a 25-yard long catch. Definitely one of their most dynamic players in that last game, alongside X-Man himself, Morozic de Jesus, who has not been able to get going so far this game.
And Rattana moves out right of Garcia. Here comes Caputo in motion. They're going to hold it. Is he going to look for Caputo again along the outside, looking for some speed. Gets past one man, breaks another tackle, and he gets the first down after being met by number 18, Marco Lopez.
And he was able to evade the tackle of middle linebacker Dylan Krakowski, a sophomore player who definitely needs to add on a little bit of size or maybe hit the weight room as Nico Caputo gets there and explodes for a huge gain.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier about Nico Caputo earning his way into this offense. He has made a massive difference in this second half. He's been able to get one of the best drives going so far for the Bulldogs as Garcia looks to take another snap, moving Caputo back in motion. We'll see what happens here as whistles are blown, a flag on the field. We got a false start on the offense.
And going back to Morozic de Jesus, it's been interesting to see how he's not been getting involved in this game as much. I wonder if it's because of the coverage of number 14, Peter Rosales, who's a junior. He seems to be mismatched here. I would take de Jesus every time, but it just seems that Styler is scheming different plays in favor of the reverse sweep to Caputo instead.
Yeah, and we'll see if they maintain that as we have a first and long now, making it 15 yards instead of 10 as Garcia's going to step back to throw. He's going to try to move up. He's got nothing. Looking to roll someone out. Got nothing. He's going to throw it away.
Great mature throw there to throw that away as he evaded the sack from number 18, Marco Lopez. Almost an intentional grounding, but he was able to knock it down at the feet of another incoming rusher.
Yeah, good play there to roll out of that pocket. He had his first instinct was to look for Morozic de Jesus. That was gone. He looked upfield, noticed that hole was shut, and kind of moved out left, trying to look for a receiver to kind of freestyle a play and get open, and no one was able to do it for him.
And that was one of the first times we've seen him roll left this game, as he has been favoring that right side. So could be part of the reason why he wasn't able to make that throw is because it was to his less dominant side.
Yeah, as Ratana's going to move to his left side, and he's going to look right for Karras. He's not open. No one's open. He's got Caputo in the middle of the field. Now he does, but he's going to look for, that's 22, Jaden Karras making his way across the field just for a gain of about 8, or not 8, excuse me, like 6 or 7.
Finally getting Karras involved there, even if it is that simple check down. Throws like that will build confidence among your offensive coordinator, among your offense. That is something they needed, although it wasn't much, and it's still a long way to go. 3rd and 9. At least it is something.
Yeah, I'd like to say that was, I mean, surprisingly the longest pass we've seen from Garcia so far in this game, as it has been a short play offense so far. He's going to give it to Ratana on a 3rd and long. Ratana looks for a hole. He spins off a tackle. Ratana looks for another hole, bounces again, and he's going to be tackled by number 5, Marco Jonic.
Incredible blocking by number 73, Joaquin Yara, as Ratana basically just rides the coattails of him for a really decent gain of yardage there.
And this is a new sight I've never seen. They completely changed the receiving core and put Ren Mason in the backfield with Julian Espinoza. We'll see what kind of play they're looking for here. It looks like it's going to be a run play, maybe a triple option. They're just going to give it to Espinoza, and that goes nowhere.
Completely well read there by Ridgewood. It's notable that Ren Mason not very successful on offense for as well as he is on the defense side of the ball. Only 1 reception versus Hinsdale South, none versus Niles West. More known in the special teams areas and defensive areas. But as you can see, Julian Espinoza, definitely not a running back as he is primarily a linebacker.
Yeah, we've talked about this in our last game and a little bit today. We've liked the play calling from head coach Sam Styler, or actually I believe he's not the one calling the plays, but the OC. We've liked the play calling. In my opinion, I just don't think that was the right play call.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they really needed to test out the Ridgewood secondary, which they have not been doing at all this game.
Not at all, as the handoff's going to go back to Camilo, and he's going to get stopped behind the line of a loss about 3. Some notable guys in there. That's Mason Mislinski.
A better start by the run defense for Riverside Brookfield. This was a trend we saw against Niles West, where Tyran Taylor, the running back for Niles West, was able to erupt for some decent yardage in that first half, but eventually was stopped in that second half. So far, from this first play that we've seen at least, Camilo was able to go nowhere, and that's well done by this defensive line.
Yeah, and This time they're gonna roll out right, looking for the go-to guy, Melendez. He's got him, and he's gonna get a first down after being pushed out of bounds by John Evans around the 29-yard line.
Well done by John Evans to nip at the feet of Melendez, drive him out of bounds. Although it is a first down, RB needs to be a little bit better here. I'm looking more at Red Mason. I think they need to switch him on, maybe to Melendez, as Melendez is normally taking up the middle side of the field. I think Mason should play man coverage on him.
Yeah, and something that we have to start realizing is when he's rolling out, he's looking for two people. It's Melendez, and that's 13, Hrabchek, as they hand the ball off real quick here for a loss of, seems to be one. Actually, they're going to give him a yard, say he got pushed up a little. But again, when Vital rolls out right, he's been looking for these same two guys. We haven't seen him hit another man when he rolls out.
Absolutely, and it should also be worth considering Carter Shelby is now here on the D-line, known for his presence on the offensive line as a captain. He could be having some tired legs here, but the defensive line definitely needs his help.
And here's a high snap to Vital, not the tallest quarterback, but he's going to try to run for this one as he slides, and there might be a flag on there.
Oh,
as
that was
John Evans got in there.
As I remarked earlier, how that was a smart tackle by him on Melendez to drive him out of bounds, just a little nip at the feet. This was the complete opposite. This was a head-first tackle that is arguably a targeting. He needs to be smarter there, as he clearly was going down.
Yeah, you saw him directly after the play, banging his helmet, all mad at himself, as he knows that that was not the right play to make after what would have been two stops behind the line back-to-back times. As Sam Styler, head coach Sam Styler, seems to disagree with the call, trying to argue that John Evans was already making his way towards the hit. But it's not going to reverse anything as the Rebels move up to the 50-yard line.
You could say Angelo Vital, being vertically challenged, worked to his advantage there as he was able to get low.
Yeah, and he's going to look for his running back out left, and he's got him, and he's got a massive hole to the 25-yard line. That's Marco Lopez with a massive gain.
And that was a great last-ditch tackle by number 5, Ren Mason.
And here's something you like to see as the Bulldogs. A little holding call on the offensive line will push them all the way back to their own 45-yard line.
That is a massive call. It did seem unusual that he was able to slip by the offensive line so easily, and of course it was through illegal ways. As we see Deuce Shelby lined up with number 66, Andrew Olivares, also known as Meatball by the team. As I mentioned earlier, 455-pound squatting record at RB, only a sophomore. He is an all-state contender in my eyes for years to come on this program.
Yeah, without a doubt. He is a massive nose tackle for the Bulldogs as he goes head-to-head with that center.
That center being Andrew Ciolek, number 72.
Who snaps it to Vital. Vital's got Melendez downfield. Melendez wide open with the hole, looking for the end zone, and he's got it.
Oh, that seemed to be some missed coverage by number 11, James Long, who played more as a linebacker trying to get to Vital, but noticed that it was too late. Noticed that Melendez was unmarked. Melendez allowed to roam free into the end zone. Oscar Aguirre caught out as well at safety.
As what seemed to be a gift from the referees turns into a ball back in their own end zone as the Bulldogs need to figure it out.
About to go here, down 23-0, could be 24 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. We could see some of the student section stands starting to empty if the RB doesn't turn it around soon.
The snap is good, the hold is good, and Jonathan Martinez drives it right through the uprights to extend the lead to 24.
Could be difficult for the special teams to deal with a left-footed kicker, something they have not seen before in their previous 2 games against Hinsdale South and Niles West, as they have to line up in a completely different side in order to get to him in time.
Yeah, that's a great, we'll head over to the offense for the Rebels. That's a great read by Vital right there to notice the little mismatch and the mishap in the defense, leaving a linebacker like James Long on a speedy receiver like Luke Melendez. He sees that and he fires, hits him, and there's nothing but room.
Yeah, great vision by Vital to spot that quickly. Something that Garcia has not been doing as well, particularly. as he's been taking a little too much time to release the ball, resulting in pressure coming in, namely from Tommy Berkovich, who had a abysmal sack on him earlier on in the first half.
Yeah, and here seems to be a little miscommunication between head coach Sam Styler and Xavier Morozic de Jesus, as they're going to move up their kick returners, as Jonathan Martinez has yet to make a deep ball here, as he doesn't really give himself much room to kick it, and it seems like that's what he's trying to do. He's going to hit, looks to be Jack Boyle again, breaks a tackle, breaks another, and gets up to the 40-yard line.
Offense will surely be looking for a spark as they start at the 40-yard line. Only 9 points within 7 quarters of play within these last 2 games. Something needs to change quick. Within that same span of time, only 1 touchdown has been scored by this team, coming from Garcia on a 26-yard rushing touchdown.
Yeah, it is safe to say that the Bulldog offense is in a slow stretch over the past 7 quarters of football that they've played, only able to put up 10 points in their past 7 quarters. They are looking to obviously break that bad habit right now and put some points on the board in their homecoming night.
Going back to better days against Niles West in week 1, where Garcia had 10 attempts for 37 yards, 7 for 13 with 120 yards, with a long throw of 38. He was able to get his wide receivers much more involved as he calls for a timeout here.
Yeah, it seems like the offense there just could not settle on what play they were running, as the play clock chimed down, and head coach Sam Styler is not too happy with the offensive crew after needing to use a timeout there.
But back to the Niles West game, we identified this earlier when the second half started. They needed to get X more involved. He was their key to success against Niles West. He had 3 receptions for 77 yards and 1 touchdown. Even Nico Caputo got in on the fun with 1 reception for 20 yards, big game there. And so overall, they just need to get more involved, their skill players. Nick Rivera has not seen the ball at all this game, as he was underthrown, which resulted in an interception.
To say I'm surprised would be a massive understatement, that Xavier Morozic de Jesus has yet to be moved in motion and moved towards Garcia to be a threat, as they're going to hand this one off. Or no, he's not. He's going to keep it looking deep. He's got Jaden Karras. What a play by Garcia. Karras breaks a tackle, stays in balance, and tackled out of bounds by Luke Melendez after a massive gain, taking him to the 27-yard line.
And as you can see, once Garcia makes that throw, their skill players will do the rest. Karras broke a tackle and was able to get a few more yards on that play, because these players at the wide receiver position are so skilled. Once they get the ball in their hands, anything is possible.
Yeah, and it looks like the Bulldogs are going to head into the hurry-up offense, knowing that Ridgewood takes time off the clock, and they take lots of it. They're going to hand it off to Ratana. Ratana with a little bit of space, but not much, as he is met after a gain of 2.
And going forward for the offense, just assume that each drive they'll have 4 plays. They're going to use their 4th down every single time now. They're down by 24. So we're going to see some extended plays from RB here, because they still have 3 more plays left, 2nd down, 3rd down, and 4th down.
Yeah, to say that it's all on the offense would be the wrong thing to say, as the offense, of course, needs to put points, but they also need to connect with the defense, as they are trying to run a screen play to Morozic de Jesus, and he's going to lose a yard on that one.
And that was one of the first times we've seen Morozic de Jesus get involved on one of those screen plays. This time it was unsuccessful, however. Garcia took maybe too many steps, as he took too long to release that ball, and de Jesus was just enveloped by pressure.
Yeah, as, again, the Bulldogs stay in the hurry-up offensive scheme. They're going to move Ratana to Garcia's left. He's going to step back to throw one. He's looking for a man. He's got Rivera. Rivera jumping forward. Looks to be good enough for the 1st down. We'll see what they give him.
Absolutely boomsticks, number 7, Kobe Lewis, one of the first times mentioning his name. He's also a sophomore. Many sophomores in this Ridgewood secondary. And
Wow.
He is primarily a running back and wide receiver, but he also does play cornerback, and his inexperience at that position was shown there.
Yeah, the ref's not feeling too generous. They do not give the Bulldogs a 1st down, but Garcia's going to run the quarterback keeper, the sneak, and he's going to get the 1st down.
Number 55, Damian Buba Nieves would have loved that play right there, as he is a massive supporter of the Philadelphia Eagles. basically acting as Jason Kelsey in that spot right now.
Yeah, and Garcia with a little bit of confusion to his sideline, but now he's got the play in his head. Looking for the end zone would be my guess, as he is ready to take the snap. Caputo back in motion. They ran a couple options off of this, and they're going to keep it this time. He's going to look downfield for Rivera. He has him. Rivera going to push for the first down. Can't get out of bounds, so the Bulldogs will hope to remain in the hurry-up offense.
Garcia doing so much better now that he is not complicating the game, getting these throws off quickly, finding his open guys on the checkdowns, on the screen plays, just to get some completions, get the stats up. And what's resulting is that they're driving down the field now.
Garcia looking to get the snap off, and he's not going to.
This is one issue. They've been really disciplined so far with the flags and the penalties in this game, but they really needed to manage the clock better in that scenario.
Yeah, this is their first time making it into the red zone. They need to capitalize here, but not only do they need to capitalize quick. Or if they're going to extend some plays, the receivers need to be looking for the sidelines.
Yeah, Riverside Brookfield down 4 scores. They have ways to go before they can start making it close and striking some fear into Ridgewood. But it all starts one drive at a time, and I'm sure that's what Styler's telling these players right now.
Yeah, exactly. We see Jaden Karras having a little meeting with what seems to be one of the offensive coordinators or wide receiver coaches. We'll see, hopefully, maybe if he could be utilized within this next play. You know, Karras kind of sparked this drive.
Yeah, and as we can see on the monitor, Danny Loftus is in full uniforms conversing with number 19, Jim Giacomelli. So, I mean, down 24, why not get some of those players involved that we haven't seen before? Danny Loftus could add a lot to the table considering how athletic he is. He knows Luke Melendez. He knows his versatility. He could definitely maybe even put us out to him on defense as well.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see if the Bulldogs resort to some of the backups to, you know, put some fire into the starters. Let them know that they're not getting the job done. And if they don't want to be here, then they can leave, because there are guys on these sidelines that are eager to get into this game.
And I know going into this week, we thought Ridgewood would be an easy scratch and this should be a definite win, but obviously it's not turned out that way. Hopefully against Elgin next week, it definitely would be easier as they are currently 0-2. Maybe in that game, we'll also see some of the inexperienced players get some reps as well.
Yeah, and here's Garcia. He's going to run the read option. He's going to look for the end zone, and he's in. Giancarlo Garcia, before the scorekeeper can even start the clock, he's in the end zone. Makes it a 3-score game. Puts some life into the Bulldogs.
Giancarlo Garcia scrambling to the right for a touchdown. Seemed inevitable at this point in the game. We know that he was effective on the scramble. We know that that was one of the only ways they're getting yards for this RB offense. So it's no surprise at all that they're able to get their first points of the game off of that same exact play.
Yeah, and it seems that the student section is emptying out, and they may have chose the wrong time to leave, because the Bulldogs have just seemed to get some life in them, as John Bila-Bradek looks to put up his first field goal attempt, the PAT of the day. He's going to get it up, and it's good. 24-7 is our score.
The comeback is now predicated on this next drive. Can the defense get a stop? They need to. If they can get a stop, and even better, if they can force a fumble or a turnover or an interception, that will really change this game on its head, as RB will then only go down 2 scores, and then anything can happen with 12 minutes left.
I mean, of course, there is a still, like, you look at the clock, you see 12, obviously not the most amount of time that you want for 3 scores, but all it takes is one stop. All it takes is one stop, one punt, a good return, and some momentum from the Bulldogs. This game could change drastically with how this drive ends up.
Definitely not a lot of time to get 3 scores, considering Ridgewood likes to chew clock, and you can guarantee that they will be trying to do that in this next drive, but RB does need to get the stop. Styler giving a pep talk to his team as they run out for this kickoff.
Yeah, something that we saw in the first game, the first play of the first game this season, was a forced fumble by the kickoff unit. Obviously, that's in all of their heads right now. They're trying to force something that can cause a turnover.
We could use some turnovers from the secondary as well. No interceptions since their first game. All those coming from Max Strong and Ren Mason. Can they get more involved? Vital has been passing as much, though, so it may be more predicated on the run game.
And here comes Bielefeld with the onside kick, and it's messed up by the Bulldogs. And here's number 80. That's not listed on our roster. He's gonna take it all the way to the end zone. And wow, what a mishap from the Bulldogs.
That could be the game killer right there. I hate to say it, but that is not what you want from your special teams. Bielefeld with what I thought was a great kick. He cannot get bodies behind that ball, and 80 just takes it the other way to the house.
Yeah, I mean, unless this special teams for the Bulldogs did not know that the onside kick was happening, I mean, that was a really good placement of the ball by Bielefeld. He had the entire defense fooled, and all they had to do was get in one man's way.
Yeah, there was no blocking at all. It seems Bielefeld was about to catch it until he was reaching for it, and all he came up for was air because 80 was going with it the opposite way. I'm sure they would have known that that was coming as Styler was talking to them about something before they were going onto the field. Disastrous execution from that RB special teams.
I mean, what seemed to give life from the Giancarlo Garcia touchdown just takes it right back out as Ridgewood connects for another 7-point drive, but this one only lasts one play.
And what's been the key theme? Momentum. And that was a momentum killer right there, as now RB goes down 4 scores once again. Tim Giacomelli written a proverb, Matthew 19:26, hoping to get maybe some game time coming soon. Why not, considering how much they're down by? Could be nice to get some fresh legs in there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be one of the only options here is just mix it up, right? You need to get some different guys into this game because the guys that are in, they're not getting the job done.
And I want to see Garcia start taking more risks down the field. I know we said it's important that he builds confidence, getting these checkdowns to Karras, getting those checkdowns to Nick Rivera. But now let's start looking for X down deep in the field. Let's start looking for Nico Caputo. Can we get these air raid balls thrown? Can we get these Hail Marys, these post routes, these go routes? Can we get them in this game now to get the lead, to get some points back and get these points back quicker?
Yeah, I can't agree more with you. We haven't seen any big plays from the Bulldogs besides a connection with Karras along the sideline. But that only has happened one time this game as Jack Boyle receives another kickoff, and he's going to get some space. And he's met with a boomstick by number 18. That's Marco Lopez. Looked to be a little helmet on helmet, but the rest disagree.
I must say, this has been great placement of the kicks by number 20, Jonathan Martinez, as he has been putting it into the hands of an inexperienced DB and wide receiver in Jack Boyle, instead of it going alternatively to X or Nico Caputo, one of their more faster players. At first, we were confused why the kicks were going so short, but it probably is for good measure, considering that they're getting less yards than they would have if it was going to one of their more better skill players.
And here he is right now, Jack Boyle, the man with 3 kick return attempts in the day. Definitely something he was not expecting at the start of this night, as Nick Rivera is going to move in motion. They're going to give the ball to Ratana, and he drops it as Garcia just needs to get down on the ground. Is a big miscommunication from the Bulldogs.
Improvisation, definitely one of Giancarlo Garcia's strong suits, both on the scramble and right there, as you can see, with the fumble recovery. But ball security, once again, a big worry for the Bulldogs as they will head in to some of these later games in the season where this needs to be something that they can fix. Glenbard East, Glenbard South, that's not going to fly.
Yeah, as Ratana moves back to the right side of Garcia. Garcia's looking to throw. He's got a couple guys open, but he's going to extend the play, and he's going to run for this one. He's going to go out of bounds after a gain, as it looks to be a horse collar tackle is going to make this a first down for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that was a dirty pull by number 77, Justin Panagaitin. Completely unnecessary as Giancarlo Garcia was running out of bounds. But it does seem that Coach Tyler has been taking our advice. These wide receivers have been running more go routes now. They were all down at around the 40-yard line while Garcia was looking for him.
It looks like they're going to give him an unsportsmanlike, which helps the Bulldogs even more here because that gives them an extended amount of yards rather than the horse collar tackle would have. So this leaves them on Ridgewood's half of the field. moving Ratana out to Garcia's left. And here comes Morozic in motion. They're going to keep it with Garcia again as he's going to get met, but he's going to bounce off the tackle, bounce off another one, but he's finally met from behind. Number 10 acting like he tackled him, but we know that it was not you.
One of the first times we've seen a missed tackle from number 10, Frankie Camilo. He's been stellar so far all game, getting tackles and getting tackles for losses, and that was another opportunity to cause Giancarlo Garcia to lose a few yards, but he could not capitalize there.
Yeah, without a doubt, that's a missed opportunity for Frankie Camilo, as the Camilo brothers, cousins, I don't even know if they're related. They've been big pieces to this game for the Rebels. As Garcia's going to step back to throw and does not throw again. Looking for this man on the sideline, and it's popped up and almost picked off.
That was number 56, Carl Stazzle, that let it drop in between his hands. Defensive lineman, so definitely not getting a lot of practice catching the ball. 5'9", 225. But great from Giancarlo Garcia to see that rush coming in from number 88, Michael Kwiatkowski, who is their joker player on defense.
Yeah, obviously a great sense of pressure from Garcia. But one of the senses he has to see there is they are leaving close passes open. If he wants to make a ball down the field, it's got to be quick. Like as we see right now, there's distance between receivers. He's got Caputo open, and he hits him right here, right on cue. Caputo looking to the bounce to the outside, and he's in the end zone. Nico Caputo on cue for the 39-yard touchdown.
Well deserved by sophomore wide receiver Nico Caputo. That is his first touchdown of the season. He was second in receiving yards per game heading into this game, of 27.5. Adding on to that total for sure with a huge gain there, especially after the carry. He deserved that for sure.
Yeah, and huge props to Caputo there. He slows his route down to get open, be in the open part of the field for Garcia, and Garcia finds the hole, hits the hole, and Caputo just runs the rest of the way.
Now, first of all, special teams needs to be better here, but can the defense after that get a stop? Down 3 scores. 9 minutes, 32 seconds left in this fourth quarter. Not much time. That's why RB really needs a turnover, because they cannot just settle with a stop.
Yeah, a lot of people, when you think about the star players of a football team, you're not really looking at the special teams. But when you think of this game, what it could be right now, it could be a 24-14 game with 10 minutes on the clock. But because the special teams players couldn't come up big time and get that ball back on that onside kick, it's a 31-14 game, just making this game even harder to come back from.
Yeah, it seems that this game might be out of reach, but that is definitely not what Styler is telling these guys. Telling them to stay focused, one play at a time. Do everything you can to keep both the offense and the defense in this game. Led by Max Strong, Red Mason. Some of these guys that have been stepping up, but they need to start becoming leaders and tell these other guys to put in their part as well.
Yeah, and John Bielabredek looking to get a kick off here. We'll see if it's maybe a squib. I'm doubting the onside attempt, but he does it anyway. And they're going to get it.
Yes.
John Bielabredek gets it perfectly this time, as Frankie Camilo has seemed to try to make friends with the refs this entire game. He's not going to get that call back. A beautiful play by Bielabredek.
Much better blocking now by tackle Mason Myslinski, who plays offensive guard and defensive tackle. Definitely better communication there, as Bielabredek was able to ride behind him there. And Myslinski put in a great tackle against undersized number 22, Nico Camilo.
And, wow, it seems like they're going to call this back now.
Must not have gone 10 yards on the kick.
As the refs disagree that it has gone 10 yards.
Bielabredek staying on the field, so yes, this will be called back, I believe. No, Ridgewood just receives the ball now.
Yeah, and they're just going to give it to Ridgewood at RB's 49-yard line. And a call that I don't really agree with. This is a big game changer. is the handoff. Looks to be to Camilo again, or excuse me, that's Lopez. Doesn't go anywhere. Gain of maybe 1. Or excuse me, I was over 2 there. That's Frank Horak.
These runs to Horak, Camilo, and Marco Lopez will definitely become a common theme for the rest of these 9 minutes as Ridgewood will look to chew clock like they are doing right now. And RB can do nothing to stop it unless they can get a turnover.
Yeah, 20 seconds still to burn on the play clock as Ridgewood is not even broken their huddle, so yet they are just looking. Their one goal right now is to just run this baby down.
Still 4 timeouts left, so plenty of time to burn.
And Vital gonna hand it off to Horak again. Horak, gain of about 2 as he's tackled by the big man, looked to be Myron Bia.
Juju Espinoza asking for a call there. He said he felt some sort of penalty, but nothing is given by the referees. Another questionable decision. Some very questionable plays from these referees so far in this game.
You'd think that the Bulldogs would get a little hometown ref advantage, and they have not whatsoever. I have not seen a call go their way, besides, obviously, the unsportsmanlike play, which was the most obvious play in the building.
Defense chance coming from the crowd now. Definitely not the students, as they are now probably trying to get a good night's sleep before homecoming.
And Vital rolls out right. McCotcher with pressure, and he's going to find his man, Alex Rabchek. That is not what the Bulldogs wanted, but forcing him out of bounds is a good play.
It does say something about the mentality of Ridgewood's offense right now, as Rabchuk, although gets smashed by 2 players, those 2 players, Max Strong and another rusher, are the ones that fall to the ground while Rabchuk just calmly jogs out. It seems as if they're more composed right now, and they're, in a sense, stronger, both mentally and physically.
So the clock remains running, which is strange because Rabchek was quite clearly pushed out of bounds after gaining a first down, as Ridgewood's going to hand it to, that's Lopez again, for a gain of about 3.
Remarkably silent from these wideouts lining up on the wide side, as everything has been running from the middle on both sides, both RB and Ridgewood. Number 21, Owen Moore, has not been seeing many targets thrown his way. Really only been making a name for himself on special teams. Same with number 8, Kevin Kynell, and Luke Melendez. We've not seen so much so far in this 4th quarter, besides the touchdown.
Yeah, obviously, Melendez had that big touchdown in this 4th quarter. Or actually, I believe that was end of the 3rd quarter. Hasn't done much in this 3rd, or 4th, excuse me, as he moves into motion now. As this is going to be a keeper from Vital, and that didn't look like the right play, as he is met behind the line by number 13, Max Strong.
Max Strong carries some sort of aura around him with this cowboy collar that he's got on. Although significantly undersized in comparison to number 58 and number 72, one of them being number 72, Angelo Ciolek, center, he's still able to get past them and bring Angelo down for a nice tackle.
Yeah, honestly, a really skilled play by Max Strong as this clock goes past the 5:35 mark with 10 seconds on the play clock, with Camilo in the backfield again. See if they throw for this 3rd down, and the same play we've seen all game, but this time it's a deeper pass to Melendez. Melendez breaks free, pushed out of bounds. Do they give him the touchdown? No, they don't. They say that he's out at the 1.
Great news for RB, although it did seem like it was a touchdown from our point of view, but great that they were able to get a stop there. But great throw from Angelo, who was able to get it over the shoulder of the DB from Riverside Brookfield to find Nuke Melendez, who was able to grab it from in front of him and run down to the 1-yard line.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say a surprise of the night is the accuracy from Angelo Vital. He has been consistent on his rollout passes, and they've been killer to the Bulldogs defense.
Yeah, Angelo's passes, his composure has been complemented supremely by their offensive line.
As they're going to give it to Camilo, as he's going to be met behind the line. That looks to be Caleb McCotchery, the one who met him.
Great knockdown from him, who's able to bring Camilo to the ground for no yardage at all there. And I would say this offensive line from Ridgewood has probably been the best position group of the game from both sides, led by number 52 offensive lineman Jimmy Jack, number 58 Jaden Mazarigos, and their center number 72 Andrew Ziolek. They have been giving Angelo so much time to go out and produce some magic.
Yeah, to say the least, that this is a star-studded offensive line. Again, they've got the height, they've got the weight, and they've been producing as they should be. As this time they're going to hand off to Camilo again, and he's met behind the line. Give it this time to Max Strong. Gets him back to the 5-yard line.
Great resilience being shown from this Riverside Brookfield defensive line, as Ridgewood is most likely one score away from putting this game to bed. And RB is just not letting it happen. The run game has been going nowhere so far for Ridgewood in the red zone.
Yeah. I mean, this RBD line has finally showed up against the run game, but it has seemed to be a little bit late, as there is just under 3.5 minutes left in the entire game, down 3 scores. We'll see what they do on 3rd and 5. Vital rolls out right. Go figure, looking for his man in the end zone, and it's no good.
Great pressure shown by number 59, Caleb McCautry, a captain for this team. Maybe too little too late, though, suffice to say.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be in the field goal unit out here. That's Jonathan Martinez, the lefty kicker. Will be his farthest attempt of the night, as he has only had one other attempt, which came from within the 5-yard line.
On extra points. Although from those extra points, it looks they were drilled. It looks like they would have been good from 30 or 40, so I do have confidence that he will make this one through the uprights pretty easily.
Yeah, it seems as if Ridgewood has flipped over this football team in every aspect of their game. And they look to call a timeout now. There's a little confusion on the kicking side. So, Liam, let's talk about this. Just over 3 minutes left in this game. What have been the key factors to Ridgewood pulling away?
Well, it's been their offensive line. Like I mentioned earlier, Jimmy Jack, Jaden Mazarigos, and Andrew Ziolek have been playing their part in allowing Angelo Vitale time in the pocket to either scramble and find Melendez or Alex Rebchuk out wide, or to allow him to maybe run up the middle. And RB has been able to do nothing, and that's mainly attributed to Ridgewood's size, both on their defensive line and on their offensive line. And if I'm head coach Vince Finelli, I'm coming away from this game super happy. Ridgewood, after this game, if the score stands as it does, will be 3-0 with a 54-12 win against Schurz in week 1, followed by a 48-16 win versus Clemente, followed by a what could be 34-14 win against Riverside Brookfield, with 34 being the lowest amount of points they scored coming in week 3. Extremely successful from their offense so far this season.
Yeah, and looking to get their first win in the Upstate 8 Conference. And this one's blocked, though. A blocked kick could change the momentum, as it's picked up by Max Strong after the block by 24. Give it to Luke Ferguson.
And that is John Evans that stumbles upon that ball. Nice little sweetener for the defense, as they've already conceded 31 points, but they were not going to concede another 3.
Yeah, something great to see out of there is those special team guys stepping back up. You know, that field goal, or excuse me, the onside kick attempts both failed, one resulting in a 50-yard touchdown. That kick block unit knew that they had to pick up for that special teams.
And I've mentioned resilience before from this defense, and I'm going to mention it again, as they could have easily just quit. They're already down by 3 scores with 3 minutes left, and this game looks unsalvageable, but instead they keep their heads up, led on by head coach Sam Styler along with their 17 other coaches, and they get a really good defensive stop.
Yeah, and wow, cost a drop over the middle, which would seem to be a pass right in his stride by Nick Rivera. Just the Bulldogs trying to get the air game moving here, as they have a lot to catch up with and very little time.
Not much else Jean-Carlo Garcia could do. That simple throw over the middle right to Nick Rivera's chest, and he just can't come through with it.
And here comes Rodana moving out to the left side. He's going to take the snap, looks out left or right to Rivera again. This time makes the catch, breaks a tackle, and he's going to push forward for a gain of about 9. We'll see where they mark him down. Yeah, they're going to give him 9. Leave it at a 3rd and 1 for the Bulldogs as they re-enter the hurry-up offense.
Rivera making up for his error in the play prior with a nice 9-yard gain there.
And here's a screen pass out to Caputo.
Flags
4
everywhere.
flags on the field. Dirty laundry out there as Caputo gets to the 50-yard line. We'll see what flag, what play happened, resulting in 4 flags being thrown.
Shout out Coldplay because that play was all yellow. And it
It seems to be against Ridgewood as the sticks are moving.
penalty was declined by Coach Tyler as they're trying to hurry this up and maybe even get out of bounds to stop the clock, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see what Garcia can do as he steps back. Looking for Caputo over the middle again, and it's caught again. Nico Caputo, 2 big catches over the middle as he's got to get out of this pile and hope for another big play from Garcia.
Yeah, great catch by Caputo to bring that down, but still did not stop the clock as it's still, oh, now it has stopped with 2 minutes, 10 seconds. No, it's still going as he was not able to get out of bounds there.
Something that we like to see out of Garcia is these completions, back-to-back completions. He's just got to start this earlier in the game as another catch there by Jaden Karras. Garcia's looking good in the pocket.
Yeah, it could be with the added fact that it's pointless at this point what he does, and so he's playing with little to no pressure. He can just let it rip with no consequences almost because the game is so far out of reach.
Yeah, but this is something you want to see out of him early game, and that's not what you want to see out of him early game as he tries to dish off about a 1-yard pass to Rivera with men like Nico Caputo open down the middle.
This feels like the 5th or 6th time this game where we've jinxed ourselves, where the next play just absolutely refutes everything we've been saying about that certain player.
Yeah, as he's going to look to make up for it here, trying to put more points on the board as the Bulldogs. As Garcia takes the snap, looks out left. Caputo's covered in the middle, and he's going to throw a sidearm pass, which goes through the hands of Jaden Karras, what seemed to be a little far out of bounds.
Fortunately, that will stop the clock with 1:27 left to go. No 2-minute warning or 2-minute timeout like they now like to say in college football. So 31-14, if you're tuning in late, Ridgewood Rebels have put this game to bed with great plays from both the offense and the defense, led by their oversized linemen on both sides of the ball. And Angelo Vital has been playing not like his age.
Yeah, and Garcia's going to run a keeper out to the left, looks for his man on the sideline. It's Nick Rivera. A beautiful ball from Garcia, and Rivera finds the sideline for a 1st down for the Bulldogs.
Very well executed there as Garcia is able to spin out and connect with Rivera, and they're able to get out of bounds quickly, only consuming 6 seconds of clock there. 4th and 5. That will reset, though, because that is a 1st down now.
And here's Garcia again in the shotgun. Ratana to his right. Puts Caputo in motion, maybe a screen play. Looking here, and no, he's going to run a keeper. Fakes out a man. He's going to look for something downfield. He's going to throw one, and it's batted away. That's number 5, Frank Horak, with the play on defense.
And that was number 60 that he was able to fake out Ivan Kohut, a defensive end, defensive tackle, and offensive linebacker, who we did say in the pregame show was going to be a player of significance for this Ridgewood defense, but up until now has not been mentioned.
Yeah, for sure. I have not heard that name through our mics. Some guy who we've been able to contain, who has been a stronger player for Ridgewood, but then again, it comes down to containing more than just one man as we've failed containing the rest of the players for Ridgewood.
Can Garcia remember these plays that he's making this late in the game, going into future games in the season, as he's so composed right now? He's making very good plays, taking RB down the field because he's probably not feeling any pressure at all. He needs to remember this for when he's up against a little more pressure and adversity later on in the season.
as he steps back, fakes another throw, and he runs back about 20 yards. Now looking again, he's got a man on the sideline. It's Nico Caputo, and they may have just lost yards on that play.
Yeah, that won't be a gain of much. Garcia went back all the way to Naperville on that play. So, although he did get the completion, which that will get the stats up once again.
They do lose a yard on that play. You know, 54 seconds left in the game. Garcia has been throwing the ball like crazy on this drive, which is something that I am disappointed, to say the least, that he hasn't all game.
Yeah, something we really wish we would have seen earlier in the game when the score was closer. Unfortunately, now they're forced to have to throw the ball as they need to get points quickly. 54 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Not looking great, and this may be a loss. So I think the focus now starts to shift to next week's game against Elgin, where they're going to be coming up against a team that's likely going to be 0-3. Elgin plays West Aurora tonight, and while we do not know the result of that game, West Aurora is a really good program that is currently 2-0. And so I'm almost certain that Elgin lost that game there tonight.
Yeah, as in the dire moments of this game, Garcia's going to step back, looks over the middle to Caputo, and it goes through the hands, and it's picked off by Luke Melendez. He will get his 6th pick of the year as a flag is out on the field.
It seemed like a drop. I thought that ball hit the ground, but I could be mistaken. The refs probably got a better look at that than I did here in the booth.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I thought the ball hit the ground as well.
It's on the defense.
A little flag on the defense, but it's still going to be the defensive ball as the flag came out after.
And that play was very reminiscent of the special teams flub where number 80 ran it all the way back to the crib, where RB just came off of a big play. Momentum was on their side, and then once again, it gets squashed by a mistake.
Yep, and here come the second string players for the Bulldogs. Guys like Jack Boyle step on the field. A lot of new faces. That's 45 running on the field, who is actually not even rostered on our team.
Number 24, Luke Ferguson, I'm also seeing as well. A junior linebacker who's playing out of position here on the offense.
Yeah, and also in there are guys like Jacob Godoy. And another man comes running in. That's 15, Brian Rampilla. He's going to stay in the game. As it looks, they're going to just kneel a ball here.
Ridgewood getting into victory formation, and that will...
I do believe they'd have to run one more play unless they just decide to call the game, which they do, as Luke Melendez hits a backflip in the back of the end zone. And the Rebels walk home with a massive W on the Bulldogs' homecoming night.
Overall, not how you want your night before one of the biggest parties of the school year to go. Tough loss as RB loses 31-14 to the Ridgewood Rebels, a school of only less than 1,000 people. Only hope now is to shift the focus towards next week's game against Elgin. Hope to pick up an away win there and gain some confidence before RB's next home game, October 4th against Glenbard South, where hopefully they'll get to 3-2 on the year.
Yeah, for sure. Some momentum will need to be built up in their next game, which is not a hard game for the Bulldogs. But sadly, that's in one more week as they are going home as the losers of tonight's game.
And that will conclude our broadcast on RBTV. Thank you for tuning in, as our next coverage will be on that October 4th date against a very good Glenbard South team with hopefully a much improved and mentally different RB football team. Thank you for watching.